Hello, and welcome to the Tiny Artist TV Color Palette Challenge live stream challenge. Today is going to be a double feature. Today I'm going to be doing characters numbers 66 and 67, and as you can see here, I already have a little bit of sketch work done. Let me go ahead and make this larger so you can see what I'm looking at. Color palette 66, which is this bright yellow one. This is called Honey Mustard, and the one on the right here is Strawberry Lemonade. Now, just like last time when I did the double feature, I have both sketches on their own little situations, so I'll be working on one at a time. So I am going to go ahead and hide this sketch and get started on this one here. It was definitely a very easy decision because of the names of the color palette, the way they look together, to make these more or less candy girls again. This one being a villain, another villain type character, since we don't have a lot of those in the lineup. And this one is actually, I realized that there were no healer class characters, so she is going to be a healer class candy girl. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. And I don't know if I mentioned, this character does have a name. The healer one does not, but this is, call it cliche if you want, Killer Bee. I might, think about changing her name, but for now she's Killer Bee. Yeah, so this particular stream didn't have a lot of me talking in it, simply because at the time I was dealing with a sore throat. So I will do my best now in the voiceover / editing phase to drop in any design choice notes that I think are pertinent to the thought process when creating this character. So yes, of course, now we're in the sketch phase, just kind of refining the idea. The overall idea for this character, Killer Bee, was that she was actually more so kind of inspired by a wasp than a bee, as you can tell by all of the very pointy, angular things that are happening, and especially since when you think of a bee, you think of round, cute, friendly shape, and wasps are just not that. So she does have multiple arms. She has 4 arms with her 4 very fine point, needle-like swords that are supposed to kind of emulate a wasp's stinger. And then of course she has the dagger points in her shoes as well, with a little bit of golden honey metal detail on the end of the shoes. And then she has these puffy earmuff type things, so it's kind of like a hybrid between a wasp and a bee, but these little puffy earmuff things that have little golden honey drop detail on them. Alright, that's good enough. Let's get started with the lines. When working on the lines, I was definitely in the headspace of making this more of a comic book cover splash art type style, since the pose is already very dynamic superhero type pose. And so I go with my classic Sino brush, so I get the nice variation of line weights, nice and smooth. But I went sort of heavier on certain parts of the shading to give it that, again, that sort of very late 90s, 2000s. Well, actually, a lot of comic books are still kind of in this style, but the sort of my line art is personally very inspired by Alan Moore and comic book creators from that time period, and so that's why I do sometimes just straight up outline where the shading is going to go and then just fill it in with hatching. And so that's what I did for this character with the line art, and I think it was very effective, especially when I do the layer effects with the colors and the line art treatment later, because I don't leave the line art just like this. I do make it a little bit softer, and so having those extra lines to help fill in some areas just kind of, I think, made it more effective. And yeah. I'm at 1 hour and 3, and I want to move on to the coloring. Very much a Kill Bill type yellow. Probably gonna end up adding black to this color palette just so that she's not so pastel, or at least just a darker gray. Yeah, that looks good. It needs just a little bit of contrast. And while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and add a highlight too, because these colors, these are a little more pastel, but these are super saturated. And this palette needs just a little bit of assistance. What color should I make the sheets? I don't even think that far ahead. Of course, I'm gonna give her black lipstick because she's a bee. If I give her yellow lipstick, it's probably gonna clash with her skin tone, or at least if it's not gonna clash, it's gonna be hard to see. Let's see. If I do the yellow lipstick, yeah, that's not great. I do want to do the multiply layer actually the blue is a nice contrast. Where's my light source coming from though? A little bit of highlight on the cheeks, maybe on the back of the arm here, definitely here, here, along the sword, a little bit on the edge, and then on the edge of this one. Oh, I didn't grab enough. Yeah, and that can just be cleaned up off stream, but as far as like coloring the sketch, getting the idea out there, I think that's good enough for now. So I'm gonna move on to character number 2. I'm gonna drop this all in a folder. And because this was one long continuous stream, I don't have a proper outro for this one. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a weird day.